All right, the time has come, and so have I. For people who haven't played Devil May Cry, that's going to sound like a really weird quote. I promise it's not dirty. But this week, coming up on Thursday, we have the Game Awards, December 8th, 7:30 my time, and it's really exciting because essentially it's basically a glorified commercial show for video games. And the awards, while they can be interesting, aren't really why people tune in. And let's be honest here, these awards are rigged. The people voting on them in this voting academy have biases. There are certain games that they haven't played, and there are certain games that they're just not going to give attention to. That's just how award shows work, whether it's video games or music or movies or TV, what have you. So we tune in for the review. And I've put together a list of some predictions that I have personally of things that I'm hoping to see at this year's Game Awards. Now, some of this stuff could actually happen. A lot of it is just, pipe dreams and long shots that most likely will not happen. So as we go on through this list, I will signify, hey, this could happen, or this is a pipe dream and I'm an idiot. So, Final Fantasy 16. Obviously, this is already confirmed to be at the event. Yoshi P is going to be there as a special presenter, but I do not think this is just going to be a situation where it's a trailer with a release date. I really think Jeff Keighley is going to give Yoshi P at least 5, maybe 10 minutes to showcase what Final Fantasy 16 is, and I'm full on expecting a live gameplay demo for this game to take place. Now, it would be even sweeter if at this event they said, hey, after the show, go download the Final Fantasy 16 demo now on the PlayStation Store. That would be cool. Now that is a real long shot. I don't know if they would do that, but I'm full on expecting them to have a gameplay demo where Jeff says, here you go, Yoshi, you got 10 minutes, do your thing. Up next, keeping in tradition with Final Fantasy, but also Tekken. So myself, being a huge Tekken fan, I've been asking for this for a long time. Tons of other people have been asking for this for a long time. Tifa Lockhart needs to make her way into Tekken. It needs to happen, Harada, you son of a bitch. I will keep asking you for things. You need to do this for me, okay?
Shut up! Shut up and sit the head down! And don't ask me for shit, okay?
Tifa being in Tekken just makes sense. She's got a wonderful moveset that would fit so perfectly with the mechanics of the Tekken games. She would look fantastic, the moves would look cool. There's already people who have made fan mods where they've added Tifa into Tekken 7 and it just looks great already. They've already said that the guest character stuff that they did in Tekken 7, which was really well received, is something they're going to continue to do with Tekken 8. It's one of those things where if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So they're obviously going to continue with the guest characters, and if at this event the first guest character they announce is Tifa, I will lose my mind and I will be a very happy boy. I have one request though. If you do have Tifa in Tekken, please have an English voice actor come back to portray her being Britt Baron. I want the option to have the English voice actor there. When Noctis made his way into Tekken 7, I was excited. I'm a huge Final Fantasy 15 fan. I loved Noctis, but I was really bummed out that Ray Chase didn't come back to reprise his role as the character, and it was up to fans, of course, to make fan mods to add his voice into the PC version of the game. So if Tifa does make her way into Tekken, please have Britt Baron come back to reprise her role. It would just feel right. And maybe we could get, maybe not a release date for Tekken 8, because I still think that game is a ways away, but maybe they could announce a release date for a beta for the game, which will hopefully, cross your fingers, have rollback netcode. Tekken needs to get with the times, and they need to have rollback netcode in their game. It just needs to happen. I want to play Tekken Online with other people that, aren't people that live with or like near me. I want to be able to go online and not have a sour experience, So keeping in line with fighting games, Virtua Fighter. We already know that Sega clearly has interest in Virtua Fighter. They released the remastered version of Virtua Fighter 5 last year, which, according to Sega and what they alluded to, it did really well. Potentially, going upwards of 8 million downloads for that game. So that is massive. So clearly there is an interest there for Virtua Fighter. They most recently did a crossover with Tekken where they had Tekken skins in their game for their characters, as well as the Tekken life bars and all that really cool stuff. So hopefully we could see Virtua Fighter come back, give us a Virtua Fighter 6 or reboot the franchise, maybe even do more crossovers with Tekken. Tekken's already got Geese Howard and Akuma and cross your fingers Tifa eventually, but to see maybe someone like Akira show up in Tekken or Wolf show up in Tekken would be really awesome. So maybe we'll get some more, crossover between those two franchises. So another thing I had on my list that unfortunately was confirmed to not be happening was something from NRS at this year's Game Awards. So earlier in the week, Ed Boon did unfortunately tweet out saying that they would not be at the Game Awards this year with their next game, which we all kind of assumed would happen. That was the pattern that NetherRealm Studios was setting, where one year they would have a Mortal Kombat game, and then a couple years later it would be Injustice, and then back to Mortal Kombat, and then back to Injustice. And we were all expecting their new game to be at the Game Awards because they've been working on it for so long, and this is the longest they've gone without actually announcing what it is that they're working on. So for all we know, it's probably Mortal Kombat 12. All of the rumors and speculation within the past year or so have been pointing towards their next game being MK12, even though the NVIDIA GeForce leak that happened had listed Injustice 3 being their next game. As we all know, things can change, but the fact that they're taking this long with whatever it is they're working on kind of leads me to believe that maybe this is a really big project. Also, earlier this year, Ed Boon did tweet out a poll on Twitter asking people what they wanted to see next. And one of the games he had on his list was Marvel vs. DC. So I'm kind of hoping that the next NRS game actually is Marvel vs. DC, and that would explain why they're taking so damn long for this next game to even be announced. I want to know what you guys are working on. It's driving me nuts at this point. I know MK12 makes the most sense because MK11 did really well, but I'm crossing my fingers that maybe sometime at E3, Ed Boon will come out and finally announce what it is they've been working on. And I don't think Ed Boon is trolling with this tweet. I don't think he's suddenly going to show up at the Game Awards and being like, ha, I fooled y'all. I don't think that's the case. He seemed pretty sincere in his tweet, so unfortunately, we're going to be waiting a little bit longer to see what the next NRS title actually is. Up next, this one is a long shot, probably not going to happen. Chances are very slim. Anything from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I would love to see a trailer at this event. FF7 Rebirth is going to be a major, huge game. Jeff Keighley loves to get those big games at his awards show, so if something from Rebirth could show up at this event, I would be very happy. Keeping in line with Final Fantasy VII, we have Ever Crisis. Where the F is Ever Crisis? I made a video months ago asking that very question because there was supposed to be a closed beta that took place this year, and we've heard nothing about it so far. And I really think that the failure of Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier has scared Square Enix into rethinking their release schedule and plan for Ever Crisis. So they might have stepped back and thought to themselves, maybe releasing this as a mobile game or episodically just is not the right play. And hopefully the next time we see Ever Crisis, it's just going to be a full game that you can buy or download for console and PC as one full package, and it's not just a mobile port that has episodic DLC to download. So, keeping in line still with Final Fantasy IX Remake. So there were some rumblings and speculation recently in regards to the long-rumored Final Fantasy IX Remake being a real boy, so to see a trailer at this event could be really cool, but Square seems to be very mum right now on FF9, even though it feels like the elephant in the room. We already know it's getting an anime. We already know that they're working on the remake. It was leaked with that NVIDIA GeForce Shadow leak. So at some point in time, Square's just got to come out and be like, yeah, we're working on FF9, and hopefully it's a big budget version and not some, crappy mobile version of the game. FF9, any Final Fantasy, honestly, that's going to be remade deserves the big budget treatment that 7 is getting. Up next, Street Fighter 6. I would assume Street Fighter would be at this event. The game is most likely going to come out next year, sometime after Resident Evil. And if they do a character reveal at this event, I'm hoping it's Cammy. Now, unfortunately, the whole roster pretty much got leaked earlier this year, so there's not really too much that Capcom can do about that now, but I would really love to see a trailer reveal for Cammy. Her current design that they've done for Street Fighter 6 looks phenomenal. She looks great. She's one of my favorite characters to, play as and watch watch people use. So to have Cammy come back and have her be like the spotlighted character at the Game Awards would be dope. Up next, another long shot, Onimusha remake. So we know Capcom still has some interest in this franchise. A couple years ago, they did the remastered re-release of Onimusha Warlords, and of course they're working with Netflix on an Onimusha anime. So clearly the franchise is not dead, and there's some interest still there. So if you could bring Onimusha back and give it that Resident Evil love, give it, you know, that love that RE2 got, that RE3 didn't get but should have gotten, and I think you could have a really big game on your hands that could be revived and be another huge tentpole for Capcom. Speaking of Capcom, Resident Evil 4. I'm hoping there's some Resident Evil 4 trailer footage at this event. Maybe we could get some more story stuff. Maybe we could see more of Ada. Maybe we could finally see Albert Wesker in this game. What's RE Engine Wesker going to look like? Let's get some new gameplay footage too. Let's see Leon kicking ass in more locations that aren't just like the village square. So hoping RE4 will be there as well. And that game is coming out relatively soon as well. It's coming out in March, so right around the corner. And announcing a demo for the game at the Game Awards would make a lot of sense. A lot of people are going to be watching. If they say, hey, you know, in January or February, you can download a demo for this game and play it before it comes out, that would be a really good place to put that. And then, of course, the very last thing I have on my list are new consoles. So bear with me here. We are 2 years into this console generation already, even though it doesn't feel like it because of the panoramic. But the consoles don't really need, you know, refreshes. However, there have been rumors in regards to the PlayStation 5 potentially getting a slim version. And then, of course, there have been rumors about a Switch Pro since the damn Switch released. So if I'm not mistaken, it was it 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 3 at this point? I don't remember anymore. But Phil Spencer came out and basically announced to the world that the Xbox Series X was a thing and that it was going to be releasing very soon. So console announcements are no stranger to events like this. So that is my personal list of things that I want to see or hope to see at this year's Game Awards. But leave your comments down below. What do you guys want to see at the Game Awards? What are you expecting to see? And what is your like pipe dream? It won't happen, but you would, you know, be very happy if it did. I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.